Doctor, professional quizzer from the Chase, and mighty fine comedian Paul Sinha. Hi Paul, it's great to meet you.
Love to meet you too, Kieran.
With you being on the Chase and other TV shows and a career in stand-up, does that mean you're a good juggler?
I think I'm a very good juggler, because there's more to that than your jobs. There's your family relationships, your relationship with your friends. It's not always easy. Your health, your life. I mean, everybody in the world juggles a lot of things at the same time. And sometimes your work juggling isn't even the most important thing that you juggle. But on a basic level, yeah, I'm a good juggler.
You are better known in some other countries than in the UK. Would you put that down to the time slot the Chase's broadcast there?
I think there's only one country that I'm better known in than in the UK, and that's New Zealand. And that's a weird thing. They just really love the Chase. It's on 3 times a day on their main channel, and that's it. I don't think I'm better known anywhere else than in Britain.
Your foray into comedy started at medical school. How did this come about?
The desperation to find friends through being funny, I suppose, is how it came about. But also, I've always been a writer of jokes. And when I was at medical school, I got to edit the Gossip magazine, a fairly sordid, tawdry publication. Although it didn't feel like it at the time. It felt like the best job in the world to edit. And then you read it back and go, whoa, well, my ambitions low back then. But that's where I sort of groomed the idea of telling jokes.
You have won several comedy awards. Which are you most proud of?
I've won 2, I think. I won a Chortle Award for Best Club Comedian a few years ago, and I've won a Rose D'Or Award for the Best Radio Show in Europe. Which, but I don't think they're the 2 that I'm proudest of. I think the one I'm proudest of... Oh no, I've won a 3rd, Best Overseas Comedian at the 2019 New Zealand Comedy Festival. But the one that I'm proudest of is being nominated for the Edinburgh Comedy Award in 2006 as one of the 5 best shows at the Edinburgh Festival. So although I didn't win the award, and although I never thought I'd win the award, it's the one with the pedigree, and it's the one that changes your career. And so that was the one I'm most proud of.
Has your experience as a doctor created plenty of comedy anecdotes for the stage?
No, not really. There's a small thing called confidentiality, which means it's hard for me to tell true anecdotes on stage. So often they're exaggerations of what happened. But I think that what medicine has given me is perspective. If I walk on stage and everybody boos me for 20 minutes and I walk off crying my eyes out, that wasn't as bad as telling a family that their relatives died. It puts comedy into a nice perspective and makes you feel like a more rounded human being to have done a more serious job than stand-up in the past.
How did your career in quizzing start?
Very good question. Let's get this right. Very keen quiz as a kid. Represented both my junior school and my senior school at quizzing. Spent most of the years as a student travelling around pubs, winning money on quiz machines. I was always into quizzing. But that career as such started with University Challenge the Professionals in 2007 on a team of comedians, and we got battered and patronised in equal measure. Battered by the team that played us and patronised by other teams going, well, you did all right. I thought, no, I'm gonna do more than all right. I'm gonna take this seriously. So it was a much a reaction to other people's attitudes, and I decided to take it really seriously. And the rest is kind of history. But as far as the Chase goes, I'd taken part in a buzzer quiz tournament against a team containing Mark, Sean and Anne in the winter months of 2010, and I'd played really well. The following year, ITV said to them, we're going to need a 4th chaser, and they recommended me.
You've publicly announced that you've been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Is this affecting your career?
Yes, very positively. I've got an angle. I've always had angles, but now I've got a really bleak, serious angle that hopefully means that people will come and see me do comedy. I've just written the best show that I think I've ever written, because it's got a real... heart and soul about it that it's from an unusual place, and it's my job to make it all as funny as humanly possible. I'll be the poster boy for tackling a disease head on and going, no, I'm not going to stop you from affecting my career. Obviously one day it's going to affect my career, I realise that, so it's my job now to fill in the gaps and make sure that I have a hell of a time until that happens.
What's Bradley Walsh like off screen?
It's great. When sober, he's absolutely great. I didn't say that, that was a little joke. He's genuinely a wonderfully hard-working, inspirational guy who's never stopped being supportive to my career.
With you both being accomplished comedians, I guess you could say there are some funny moments. Could you share one?
Nah. The funny moments, they never really make the edit because they tend to be a bit bluer than can possibly make the edit. The kind of the moment is it's hard for me to. I'm finding this very difficult. I should try. Oh, I know. Yeah. So there was a question about a restaurant, an Indian restaurant called Gaylord, being the there was a question about an Indian restaurant called Viraswamy in London, being the first Indian restaurant to pick up a Michelin star. And Bradley's favourite Indian restaurant is Gaylord, one of London's oldest Indian restaurants in the West End. So the question came up, which of these types of restaurants got its first Michelin star in 20 whatever it was? And the options were Indian, Chinese, Thai or something like that. And I knew it was Indian, I knew the Viraswamy had picked up and Bradley said, didn't know it was Viraswamy, he said, Gaylord, isn't it? Turned to me and said, Paul, you'll know, meaning Paul, you'll know because you're Indian, and not Paul, you'll know because you're a Gaylord. And he went, Paul, you'll know, and one of the contestants went, can't say that, Bradley. And Bradley just looked genuinely horrified at the implication that he'd said that I would know because the restaurant was called Gaylord. And then there's those moments, the ones that don't make the edit, that I really, really enjoy.
Does Sean Wallace ever smile?
Yes, all the time. It's panto. I think he smiles quite a lot of time in the record, but they don't put it in case it breaks the image. Sean's one of the most naturally cheerful people you'd meet. He's nothing like his persona on the chase.
What do you do to relax?
Read quiz books, watch quizzes, play the piano. Well, I say piano, keyboard. I'd stopped playing the keyboard because of the effect on my hand of Parkinson's disease, and ever since I was diagnosed, I decided to buy a keyboard, stick in my kitchen, and play as much as possible to fight. And I'm now back being quite good at it again, thanks to the medication. So it's quite an important part of my sort of recuperation is playing the keyboard a lot. Other than that, I dine out a lot. And listened, I got married in December 14 last year. The other thing I do is listen to my wedding playlist on Spotify. And it just takes me back to a place where I was emotionally happy. And it's always a nice thing to do, I think.
I interviewed Ed Byrne recently and talked about his time on Top Gear in a reasonably priced car. Would you fancy a crack at that?
I think it's a bit too late for me, Kieran. I don't mean to be cruel, but I only do short journeys now on my car. The combination of the medication making me feel sleepy and not being completely trusting in my own hands. I would never ever do that now. Luckily I'm not a car person anyways. This isn't some massive ambition that's been thwarted by the devil that is Parkinson's disease. It's just not my thing.
I like to tell jokes. Can I tell a few of mine?
Yeah.
Never buy shoes off a drug dealer. I've been tripping all day.
Nice. It's a good piece of advice as well.
When dog chases people on a bike, we've got so bad that to take the bike off him.
You've got a future in this game, Kieran. You've got a future.
I saw a transvestite wearing a miniskirt that showed balls.
No, not that one.
That's the
World's moved on. World's moved on, Kieran.
That's the end of the interview. Thank you for sparing your time.
That's great, Kieran. Thank you.